here, so
All right, well, let's get started. Roll call.
Okay. Bastian,
Here.
Knauer,
Here.
Tidings,
here.
Burton,
Here.
Valentine,
Here.
Sangster,
Here.
O'Connor.
Here.
Thank you.
So the first item we have tonight for the board is the draft minutes from the April 14th meeting. If the board had a chance to take a look at those, if there's any questions, concerns, issues.
No concerns. I'll make the motion to approve.
We have a second.
Tidings moved.
Just this.
Okay, motion made by Tidings, approved by Bastian, or seconded by?
Second.
Well, no, I didn't. I wasn't here. And I
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I haven't had a chance to.
I was not here either.
I was here.
Well, if we got two, then we'll table it till the next meeting.
Well, I can still vote
If-
to approve because I did review
Okay, if you viewed
the
it, then
information.
if you're willing to second it, then
Yeah,
You didn't find Terry did anything wrong?
no, yeah.
so are you seconding it, Mr.
I
Burton?
will second.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, Bastian,
Accuse myself.
Burton,
Aye.
Knauer,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay, we have one tabled item on your agenda this evening. It is for the Bayview Landing. We are still waiting for additional information for them to submit to staff. We've not gotten anything from them since the last meeting. We're still waiting for geotech information, wetland information, as well as the renderings on the four sides that the board has asked for. So we don't have any new information to provide you tonight. So I think I shared with you last time, I did go to the town board. They did get the waiver for the sidewalk on one side, and the town board was also okay with the improvements in the sales landing district. So as the driveway goes through there, they have jurisdiction over that area, and they granted their approval for that piece of it.
We didn't hear back from Chris Lopez and the rear elevation.
He is holding off until he gets a full set of renderings. So he gave an initial comment. He said, "I'll comment, but if they're revising it," he goes, "I'd hate to, charge you twice or charge the applicant twice, for that review." So we said, "Yeah, hold off until they give us, a full set to look at, and then we'll give him to Chris for his comment." So he's holding off at our direction. So without any additional information, I assume the board would want to continue table the.
I'll make
Yeah,
the
I'll
motion to
motion.
continue.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made by Tidings, seconded by Knauer. Bastian,
Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Knauer,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay, we do have a few miscellaneous items that have been ongoing and a few new information for your input. Panorama Plaza building facade. This one we did get some comments back from Chris on it. We've gone back and forth with the different renderings. We do have hard copies here of kind of the design and the style of it, as well as the color and materials. With that, it seems, at least in my reading of it, the only comment that Chris has that they haven't addressed or changed is the color of the metal roofing on it. He was asking for a different color, so this piece on the end, it's the metal roofing here, he was looking for a separate color or a different color to that, to add a different change to it or add a different dynamic to the building. The developer's architect has come back and said, no, he liked it continuous color that kind of blended in and didn't show up as too many colors and too much of a variation on the building and make it look piecemeal. So just from what I've read, it seems like that's the only outstanding issue that they had. They have shown the can lights here. Last time they showed some sconces on the side going upwards. They said they took those off. They're going with the can style lights there. And then they said they're going to do some lighting in the arches here. They said that they did, I guess, a sample on the hallmark piece. So if the board wanted to look at that.
Are they going to point up, or are they going to be
They're all be down lighting to
down
be more,
lighting?
Yep, to be more dark sky compliant.
Good.
So last time they had the sconces, and that was one of the questions and one of the issues we were looking at as we were flipping through the lighting last night was the sconces, and they came back and said, no, actually, we've moved away from that, we want to do the downlights. This shows the different pieces where they're taking away the arched roof or the peaked roof, making more of a flat roof, matching more of that Main Street style that the board has in their design criteria. So they're this is some of the stuff that's eliminated away, and then kind of the more flat roof Main Street look to it. But overall, I think your consultant, Plan Architecture seemed happy with the update that they're proposing. So whether the board wants additional information, whether you're comfortable with what they're showing now, if you had any thoughts, concerns on that metal roof element, or you're comfortable with what
Just the one there on the
applicant.
right?
There is a couple that go down through the way, and that's.
Is that like striped? Is it platinum color? I can't tell.
It's basically like a raised seam kind of metal roof on it, so it has some texture to it, but they were talking about painting it, and Chris was looking for a greenish color to it. Their answer was, we just don't want to introduce too many colors to it and make it, too busy on the facade.
I'd be inclined to take the recommendation of our consultant. And also wondered if you got any feedback from AJ on the change in lighting.
I did not hear from AJ on the lighting.
Usually
I
buy
know-
in.
I know he's- Yeah, I know he's traveling. I know, obviously, I think he's always supportive of more dark sky compliant lights than having projection lights going up and out. We can ask them for, a rendering to show what that green band may look like, and then weigh the options of, what the green band looks like versus the tan color, and bring it back to the board in 2 weeks if you want to see what your preference is on that, or if you're comfortable with what they have.
Over here, it's like terrible when it comes to colors.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to approve it with the recommendations made by Chris.
Okay, so I'll let them know it's approved with Chris's recommendation for the color band. If they want to come back in 2 weeks and show the green versus the tan, and you guys prefer the tan, they have that option, but I'll let them know that, so we'll move for an approval based
That
on
works for me.
Chris's recommendation. If they want to come back with something else, we can look at it again. Okay. So we need a vote on that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Bastian, seconded by Tidings. Okay, Bastian,
Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Mauer,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay. The next miscellaneous item, we have representatives here tonight if you want questions or input from them. Charles Finney School is looking to put a field house out on the back of their property. They're looking at basically a press box with 2 small areas for bleachers. There's the kind of the rendering of it. So this is the back of the existing building here on the left, the back of their parking lot. Looking to add the press box with bleachers on either side, and then doing some updates to their field in the back. The question before this board is whether you're comfortable going to a preliminary final application rather than going through a sketch plan and then the 2-step process. They're obviously under a time crunch. They would like to get this thing up and operational for the fall, as well as getting the grass grown and everything else. But obviously, our normal 2-step process, sketch plan, and they come back. That would obviously put them out of this season and would put them into next year. That's not the only reason to look at it, but being a small project, it's just over the 1,000 square feet that would have been an administrative review, but it did kick it up to the level of the planning board review. Looking at the aerial photos, the majority of the neighbors, obviously the Finney School is kind of buffered. There's the church to the south off of Penfield Road. Penfield School District is to the north. There are some neighbors, but they're not immediately adjacent. So it would go in this area here. This is the parking lot for the First Baptist Church. There's quite a bit of buffer to Peachtree, and then to the north is athletic fields, and then the school district here, and then I guess the closest neighbors would be just off this corner in Devonshire. It appears they have sufficient buffering with that. I don't know if they're proposing lights or not. We can ask them.
For the field?
Yes.
No.
Okay. I can see that being the biggest impact to any neighbors is the big floodlights for the for that area. So their question this evening is, whether you're okay with them making an application for a preliminary final, which they would look to get in. Our deadline is the end of this week to get in for your June public hearing date.
I don't have a problem going to preliminary final for something like this, not at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't either. I don't like that. It looks pretty good.
And then,
Okay.
you know, the rendering you just showed, that's a pretty good sketch plan, actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously tonight's not a formal hearing, and we would have to have a formal hearing for it. They're obviously looking to move ahead with the project, but it's, you know, fairly small in scope.
Everybody's driving a white car.
You know, it's just off the pad, so the fire marshal will be happy it's not too far out in the field. He can get, you know, equipment close to it, but just wanted to get this board. We don't need an official vote on that, but just want to make sure the board was comfortable going to preliminary final with that. I don't know if you have any questions, concerns.
Well, the field's already existing, right?
It is. I think they're going to do some upgrades to it
Yeah.
and do some improvements to it, but it is
As a
a
football
green.
field?
Yeah, it's a football field, but it needs some upgrades to it.
It's just the
north
two,
third of the field, we're gonna regrade, there's about a 6-foot change in grade across that field, so it's a home field advantage on one side. About the north third, we're gonna flatten that out. And, that'll work well, the grading they've shown on the current plan works, there's some utilities in the area, we're not seeing any conflicts at this time. And working with the school district to the north for some grading on their property, and that's been a good working relationship, so you'll see an easement designation on the final plan. Other than that, it's pretty simple. It's a 1% grade across that field, so it still slopes, but not as much.
Okay.
It's a 1-on-4 slope regraded on the hill.
We don't have to make any motions.
No, it's just the board's determination. They're comfortable moving to preliminary final. We'll work with them to get their application in. We'll send out the normal notifications to the neighbors, and then we'll have the hearing in June. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
The next miscellaneous item I have is for the Hampton Inn Panorama Trail. They have, they actually came into PRC yesterday, and we do have some hard copies of the sketch what they're adding. The building actually shrunk in their final design. It went from, originally I think they were contemplating a Hampton Inns and Suites. They're just planning a Hampton Inn. So without the Hampton Inn and Suites, they don't need a 2-floor breakfast area inside, so they were able to consolidate some rooms, so shrunk the footprint of the original building. So the original building went all the way back here and all the way to the sidewalk that comes up on the side of the property. So with the shrink of the building, they were looking, and you know, just as they're working out their final development of the property, trying to get a few additional parking spaces in. So they're asking for, looking to see if they can fit 5 additional spaces. So 4 spaces would be up against the building. So you can see these are the 2 step retaining walls. The building originally came all the way out to here, and then the building was the retaining wall on that piece. They've added or will add a retaining wall as a return on that end. And on the other end, they've actually, are proposing to add some stones in here, step it down and do some landscaping, because this is an open plenum to the 2nd floor. So it's a 3rd floor access up above, but a 2nd floor open area. So as you look outside, this would be open to the 2nd floor. So they wanted to do some step rock landscape looks with shrubs and plantings in there just to make it aesthetic. And then would come in with a guide rail on this side and a guide rail on this side for vehicles. PRC's only, their biggest concern was keeping a clear access way there for pedestrians, handicap traversing this area. This is 22 feet here, so there's a deeper than normal parking stall space that cars could go in, as well as they said they would be, you know, they would post that for employees, because that's kind of on that outskirt edge that the employees could park there, because they're going to have the hotel and then Kip's office. They're actually looking to make their office possibly on the top floor, so maybe some employee outside of the hotel as well. And then there's one more space in the layout that they're looking to put on this end corner here. They'd have to revise the catch basin over. They haven't placed that yet. And then there's a Siamese connection for the fire department that's in that location. The truck can pull up to a high spot, charge this, which then backfeeds the building and pressurizes the sprinkler system. So they're looking for a revision to the site plan on that.
So they shrunk the building and then they had 5 parking spots.
Yeah.
And they want to do additional landscaping.
As long as they were able to maintain this handicap accessibility, so they're gonna ramp it down, keep the sidewalk open there, and then I just wanna make sure there's enough depth of that space that won't go overhanging that walk, and then they'll have, some coming off the
Fan
hill
on
and
if
have
you
to
will,
walk.
so we can see the overall site.
So this is Panorama Trail out here. This is their access in, so this is the first floor. You would pull in, drop off, go into the hotel, you have parking in that area. Then you come up the hill. This is now you're on the 3rd level here. This is the entry in the back on the 3rd floor for your room. So this is kind of a flat area, and then from here it drops down. This is the sloped section here, and then the flat grade at the top, and then this is the back part that overlooks the creek.
Is that teardrop in the middle consistent with the plan that we approved?
Yes, that's
It is.
they're using it as a biofiltration, biofilter area.
I just don't remember that shape.
I think it was a little rounded on this
Yeah,
end here. I don't know if it's as pointy, but I asked them quickly to revise this, so to show an overall concept sketch. I thought it was a little more rounded off on this corner, but that gets the fire trucks around the top. We can look at that pointy area, but
and Tom's looked at this for turning radius and fire department access.
yep. Yep, he's been comfortable with that, and he didn't believe that this would impact that. The pedestrian access was the piece that we were just going to make sure that that wasn't blocked. If it was a short parking space and cars were, overhanging that sidewalk and people trying to come up and down, and now they're out in the road, trying to get around or wheeling a suitcase or something as they're coming in and out.
22 feet, how do we,
They're going to have parking bumpers at the end, and they're going to label it compact cars and also employee.
so that's how they're going to manage it?
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, you've got 2 exterior accessible routes in the building, one at the front and one in the rear. So there's nothing in the state or federal regs that would require you to tie that in.
No, it's
So-
a nice amenity, but I'd hate to
It's
see
a
it.
nice amenity, but to call that a handicapped accessible.
No, it's not the main
ramp, it's
accessible
really not.
route, but I just hated to see it installed and then have it parked on top of continuously, and make it might as well take it out if it was not available. But no, it's not you have handicap accessibility out here, handicap parking spaces, you have handicap accessibility out here, so it's not the main handicap accessible route, and actually this sidewalk is not handicap accessible going up that grade. It
I was
exceeds,
going to say, it's,
that exceeds the 8%, it'll be allowable.
And the, putting a remote fire department connection, is that something that Tom requested?
Yes. They have a hydrant, Doug, if you can zoom out a little bit. They have a hydrant that they added down here. Right off the road, there was a hydrant across the street, there was one up a little bit. They added one here, and then he asked for the Siamese connection to be separate up here, that the truck could get on top of it. So not only could they pull down here, fight it from the bottom, but from the top, they could have a second means to feed the building and feed the sprinkler
And he
system.
didn't ask for a post indicator valve?
I'm not sure.
It's unusual. And I just wonder about maintenance. Because typically that area directly adjacent to parking spaces is snow storage.
Yep.
The contractors don't do a very good job of even keeping hydrants clear,
Yep.
much less a fire department connection.
Okay. I'll check with him and see if he's comfortable with it.
So, maybe there's, if he wants it remote, then maybe on the other side of that drive lane might be a more natural area where they would
You're talking on
maintain
more,
that sidewalk
on the
anyhow.
inside in here.
Yeah, anywhere's on the,
And before, the building tied right up to this, so maybe
Right.
it was too close, but now, they've gained some more landscape area over there. Maybe there's a spot that, the wall came up, the building came, obviously the building's short of that much, but the building came right to here, the edge, and that was the retaining wall, was the building.
what's the square footage they reduced by?
That I don't know.
Just curious.
I don't, but I know they basically said they didn't have to have the second floor or 2-story foyer area, they were able to, once they took that down, then all the rooms were able to consolidate, and obviously that second floor
They got rid of the suites.
filled up with the room. He said, whatever reason, they're not inns and suites, they're just a Hampton
Just
Inn.
inns.
And inns don't need a two-story foyer. That's
Hmm.
It's probably
Okay.
a prototype.
what they shared with us, but I'll check with the fire marshal on that connection.
You know, I mean, if he feels strongly that that's the right location, then, you know, some comments on the approval resolution about maintenance.
And we do have a property maintenance agreement with them for the property, so we can
Yeah,
amend
it's
the-
just,
amend the-
snow is the only thing that you worry about with
Yep.
that.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. They came yesterday to PRC, you know, I wanted to bring it to the board. You know, there's a modification to the site.
Do we need to
plan
vote on
approval.
it?
Yes.
I move to approve.
I'll
Second
second.
Motion made by Bastian, seconded by Canower. Okay, Bastian?
Aye.
Burton?
Aye.
Canower?
Aye.
Tidings?
Aye.
Okay, the last item I have tonight for the board, basically just an update on your May agenda. We do have one public hearing item, 1426 Jackson Road, and we have not gotten the drop materials yet. We'll get those to you as well as PRC comments next week before your hearing. Basically, it's just a two-lot subdivision, one lot today, subdivided into two lots on Jackson Road. Actually, back in the day, it was two lots. They bought the property, merged it together into one lot. Now they're looking to split it, and they'll leave the site plan application to the future buyer of the second lot to come back either before this board, or if it's just a one lot, one house, it could be an admin review just for the site plan of the house. Yeah, so Doug propped it up. So it's a single-family house today with a double lot. They're just looking to split this down the middle, create two lots, one for the existing house and then one for a potential future house. This is the Gibbs property across the street that the board has previously approved. Single-family house here. This is the D'Angelo property, Cassidy Court. So just
Okay.
south of Plank, Jackson Road. Plank Road is up here, just on the east
There
side.
it is.
You go by, they have some beautiful landscaping and yard, and
I know that. So it's just a resale.
just a resale. So that should be pretty straightforward. We'll see where we're at with Bayview Landing. We may have some updated materials for that for Bayview Landing. That's all I have. For the board tonight.
That's it.
That's it.